Hey everybody, welcome back to Coffee with the Missionary. This week we got my son-in-law, James Greer,
Hey, it's me.
and we're going to be talking about some of the takeaways we got from NYC. Just talk about NYC as a whole. I'm going to throw in a couple of things about my book that will be available and shipped to you before Christmas, Lord willing, if you're interested. And I'm also going to throw in a few things about deputation that we've experienced over the past couple of weeks since my last podcast. But before we dive into this episode, go grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee and we'll get right into it. So we're coming off of a wonderful holiday. We had Thanksgiving with the family, and NYC. We just had a wonderful time. Had some wonderful services, and got to run into several people that we hadn't seen for quite a while. My son-in-law, though, he's here with me today, and he's been a avid listener of Coffee with the Missionary since episode number 1. And we're going to have him on here today, and we're going to talk a little bit about NYC and some of the takeaways that we had there. So, James, when we was at NYC, what would you say was, we can't say favorite service because they were all awesome, but what would you say was one of your biggest takeaways from NYC?
I knew as soon as we started this, you were going to ask me that, and I started thinking, I was like, before he finishes what he's saying, I have to come up with something. If I would not say what my favorite preaching was, that way that I don't, cast doubt on any of the other guys. What I really like about NYC, though, is the opportunity to get to sit down and see some of the people that are across the country and you maybe only see on like social media. So for me, getting to sit down and be with Brother Traxel, Brother Ball, we see pretty regularly, but some different, almost like if you want to call them apostolic celebrities. It's nice to get to see them. I always like we always go and support the Mondays whenever we're there too. What I thought was a really good thing that we did was the I don't know if you saw Brother Perez's little meeting he had with a bunch of the Hispanic ministry.
Yeah, I heard about that.
They had me and Harley went to that, and the room was full of pastors and of Hispanic pastors. The whole meeting, Brother Perez was up there. He had a translator, so Brother Traxel would say something, and then he would translate it in Spanish to the people in the room that only spoke Spanish. I think that that was a really, really great. He's also translated all the services there for all the people that only speak Spanish. I think it's an untapped potential that we should be focusing on in our local churches more. Outreaching to people that don't speak English. I think it's a great opportunity.
Multicultural services, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I agree. That was, one of my big things too, was just getting to see everybody. James, he's like see people, across the country or whatever. But cool thing is, I get to see people from across the world because we're not here very often.
Yeah.
And it's been great to be able to be here to see everyone and run into everyone over the past couple of weeks, and well, actually several months since we've been on deputation. But I got to see some of the missions directors that we wasn't necessarily in their state this time around. It was really great to be able to do that, and we got to see the Coveys. We got to see some of the other missionaries. That was pretty cool. Our table is actually set up right next to Brother Conyas. He's been going back and forth to Mexico from Colorado, and I mean, God's just using him in a mighty way, and we love the Conyas family. As far as some of the I'm more involved with world missions, obviously being a world missionary,
Right.
but I am going to go way out on a limb here, because missions is missions, right? Soul is a soul, regardless whether you're in the United States, whether you're in Papua New Guinea, whether you're in Southeast Asia, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're at liberty to talk about right now, about some of the things going on in the home missions department?
Oh, there's plenty of stuff. We don't have any. We're not really we don't plan stuff to unveil and surprise people. We got something going on, we let you know as soon as possible.
Oh, that's our job as
That's
World
right,
Missions.
yeah,
We unveil
yeah.
things. Okay.
We try to if we have a good idea, we do it as soon as we can. That way we can get it done. We are working on kind of revamping the way that we do our It Matters session. There's one thing I probably can't talk about that's going on nationally, but basically what it leads to us, how it does affect us, how we can talk about it, is we have to revamp some of our media stuff. Currently, a lot of our It Matters sessions. Have you ever set in one of the It Matters sessions that we have?
I don't think so. Is that the one Brother Schnitzer does?
Yep.
Yes, I have.
Yep.
I was in that back in like 2019.
Maybe? Right. We've been doing it for 5 years. I today actually finished. I went back. All of our old sessions are archived on Vimeo, and we're losing access to Vimeo. They lock it down. Yes, it's like a paid thing to have it, I guess. So I've downloaded all those, and we're transporting those over to YouTube. And what we're going to do now is for our AAC pastors that join the department, to keep them kind of accountable, we're going to have one of them for them to watch, that they have to watch every month so that they get their money. That way that we know that they're getting a little bit from us, and they have a little bit, not because we want to penalize them, but as a way to keep them accountable, and for you to know if you're giving money to them, they're getting resources from us, and they're agreeing that they are following by those resources.
An incentive to grow, right?
Yeah. So
definitely,
we're really trying to push for more. Actually, I don't know if they announced it yet publicly, but since Brother Traxel and Brother Wilkes took over, we've doubled our AAC pastors, and we're trying to make it even more than that, because now we're opening it up to Hispanic ministry inside of the church. So you can be at a thriving church that maybe has a pastor that's been there for years. You can be an AAC pastor under that pastor in that church, doing services on off services times or whatever. So that's kind of what we're kind of focusing on, is the updating of media and podcasts and working with multicultural ministries.
So if someone wanted to tune in to the Missions America podcast, what is the name of that?
It is called the Missions America. It was the Missions America Home Podcast. We renamed it. I'm not exactly sure the name right off the top. It's a long name, but it is through Anchor also. We're going to do a lot more promoting of that here coming up. Right now, we only have a limited stock of stuff on there, but Brother Chesser and Brother Wilkes and Brother Traxel and Brother Ball recorded a bunch of services, or a bunch of podcasts just like this at NYC at the Missions America booth. So we'll be getting those shortly whenever they pass them over to me, and then getting those online also.
That's awesome. So once we get that link, I will link it up in my show notes and throw that on my website for those of you that may be interested in checking that out. I say this all the time in my deputation services and just talking to people in general. Being a missionary isn't something about your geographical location.
Right.
Being a missionary is just having a hunger for souls and following the Great Commission, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus told us to do it. It's our job to do it no matter where we are on this earth, no matter what side of the globe we're on. It's our job to win the lost.
Yeah. Brother Wilson taught once. Sorry not to interrupt you, but Brother
you're
Wilson,
good.
I remember hearing him teach. He said that he was going on a missions trip, and he was coming out of his driveway, and his neighbor walked up to him and was talking to him, and walked away, and he realized, I don't know his name.
Yeah,
and he lives
that was
across
actually
the street.
Brother Ball.
Was that Brother Ball?
That was Brother Ball,
Brother
yeah.
Ball that said that, and it convicted him, being like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go on an airplane and fly to a different country to minister to people that I don't know.
Yeah.
The guy across the street, I don't even know his name.
Thousands of miles away, and my neighbor's lost, and I don't even know who he is.
That's always impacted me. I don't have a lot of money or a situation where I can be sent to go someplace, but I try to impact people that I see every day in a positive light. And instead of, we're not called to go that way, but we try to service here as much as we can while we're here. So,
hey, this is home, right? I got a sticker on my
that's
laptop
right.
that says so.
This is home. Yep, exactly.
But for those of you that was at NYC, I sold several books at NYC and had the opportunity to sign a few. But I've gotten some messages on how can I get a signed copy of your book. Well, if you're interested in receiving a signed copy of The Road to PNG and you want it before Christmas, we're going to give you the rest of this week. So when you're listening to this, you have about what, 7 days from today, which will be next Tuesday, the 13th. If you send me a message by the 13th of this month, I will try my best. It'll be a paperback copy, and I will be charging, not that my signature's worth anything, but I have to charge $15 because I have to ship those, and I have to pay to have those shipped. And I'm afraid to do media mail. Even though I could do media mail whenever I send those out, I'm afraid they won't make it if I do media mail. So I will probably ship everyone out priority. And that's about $7 every time that you do that. So if you're interested in that, just let me know. Send me a message. Send me a voice recording on Anchor, or let me know in some way that you would want to do that. If you would just like to get a copy and you don't want to have to pay that extra for shipping, and, you know, I may be in your neck of the woods soon. I'll be in Indiana all of this month, and I'll be in Mississippi all of next month. So whenever we're in your area, if you order one from Amazon or off of my website, you'll be able to go there and get that book and just bring it to the service whenever you know that I'm going to be at your church, and I'll gladly sign it for you. I like I said, my signature's not worth much, but sometimes it's kind of cool. You know, I had a lot of people come up at NYC, and, you know, they just wanted to buy one so they could get a signature in there. And I always joke around, if you have the digital copy, you know, if you want to get it on Kindle and you want to bring your iPad, I'll sign it too if you have a Sharpie. I mean, it's all good.
You're not signing my iPad.
Come on now.
Or my MacBook.
I mean, you know, I'll gladly sign a MacBook too. You could sign a MacBook over to me. I mean, we can do it either way.
I might let you do my Windows laptop. See about that.
I don't sign anything Windows. No Galaxy tabs. No Windows.
Since you're talking about books, I don't know if you've thrown a plug in there for Harley's book that she wrote.
I haven't, but I will link her up in the show notes. My daughter, I'll let James tell you. I don't want to steal his thunder because he's excited to tell you this, but my daughter did do something. And what was it that she done?
She wrote a children's book, and she wrote it and illustrated it all herself. We had it basically done the same way you did your book. We did it through Amazon. So we have some. I think we are actually sold out of our physical copies. If you
Nobody likes when people brag, James.
I'm just saying we didn't order as many as you did. We ordered basically what had been ordered, and I shipped out two just yesterday to people that had ordered from us. But the same way, our books are, I believe they are $10 on Amazon. And little Rosie's running in here.
Yeah, you might hear my granddaughter coming in here, but that's okay.
That's the person that the book's about.
Yeah, it's right. Brave little Rosie. But, you know, if we get grandbaby news in my podcast, it's always exciting to me. There it is. Because if we get that noise, that means that my granddaughter's here and I get to see her and spend some time with her. Sister Marshall just gave her a bath, and she came in here just running in here saying whatever she wanted to say, making sure that the world hears her voice.
Yep. So that book that Harley wrote, it is called Brave Little Rosie, and it's about Rosie, our niece, Ryan's granddaughter. And it's all about learning that to be brave doesn't necessarily mean doing stuff all by yourself. Sometimes you can ask people for help, and that's how you can show that you are the most brave, when you tell someone that you need help. So those books are $10. If you buy them, same way if you contact me, if you know who I am, then we can order them for you and then ship them out for $5. So it'd be $15 for a signed copy from Harley's book. So
if you're interested in that and you don't have access to James on any type of social media, his name is James Greer. Is that what it is on Facebook, or is it Russell?
No, and everything but Twitter. Everything is James Greer. Twitter is Russell James Greer. Everything else, I try to make it simple that it's James Greer.
Okay. And two, I can also, if James and Harley don't mind, you know, for the next couple of months, I can put her book on my website.
Yeah.
And you can get them that way. I'll just link her up there. And, you know, obviously it's going to be an affiliate link. You know, let's not pull any punches there. But,
yeah.
I will link her up on my website so that you guys can order her book there. And is that available like e-book or digital copy, or is it only paperback?
We only have not hardback, not digital copy. The way they do the children's books are different because, I mean, it's only like 20 pages.
Just a few pages.
Yeah, it's really meant to be purchased and then read to your kid.
Okay.
So, but it's a cool thing to have too. You could have the missionary's book and the missionary's daughter's book all together in the same collection.
Why not? And we could read the book on the podcast, and they could have an audio version of.
Hey,
but then people wouldn't buy it. That's a bad idea.
If people are into that, I'll read it. Whatever.
But we've been on deputation now for quite a while. We've been to a few states, and God's just so good. Me and Ezekiel, we've been on the road since, like September. We've been to Ohio, we've been to Michigan, we've been to Arkansas, we've been to Tennessee, we've been to NYC, not New York City, but the better one. But we was there, and now we're actually in our home state, which is exciting. We get to be here in the state of Indiana with family for the month of December, and we get to spend time with our granddaughter and our kids and our parents for Christmas. That's pretty exciting. Getting ready to, I'll unveil a big secret here for those of you that don't know, but I like to deer hunt, and I actually am back in my home state where I can get a hunting license for less than like $30,000, like when you're a non-resident. So I'm hoping to get some hunting in over the next couple of weeks. Archery season's in all the way through the 1st of January, so I'm excited about that.
Ryan just got a brand new crossbow too.
I did. I actually got a couple brand new crossbows.
Someone else got you one?
Yeah, they did.
Really?
I got one from you, and then Dad gave me one, the other day. And
really?
I went out there and sighted that bad boy in, so come at me, bro.
I got two crossbows.
One in each hand. That means I get a buck with one and a doe with the other. I'm just walking there looking like the Terminator.
That's crazy. I didn't know he gave you one too.
But we've had our car in the shop twice on this deputation, which is always a good thing, right?
Right.
And actually on Sunday we was with brother and sister Tomei, and we was reminiscing a little bit. And the last time we was at our church, we was in your car.
Yeah,
we was in your car, and we ended up being in the garage there in LaPorte, Indiana. Last time we was with the Tomays.
Yeah, I remember you calling me and said, "Hey man, are you had any troubles with this car?" And I'm like, "No, I think at that time I probably had 50 or 60,000 miles on it. I would guess it was.
Yeah,
it was
low.
Kind of new, but it wasn't brand new, but it was kind of new. So." I was surprised to see. That's so cool, baby. I was surprised when you said that it was in the shop. I was like, no, it's been totally fine for me. So.
You look pretty, Rosie. Rosie came in. She's got her hair done, got some barrettes in there. She looks beautiful. But yeah, Brother Tomei, he put us in the same hotel this time. He said, "Bro, I hope your car starts in the morning." I was like, dude, don't do that.
You had the last trip that you were at, you had to get some work done on your car, right?
Yeah, down in Tennessee.
Yeah.
We had some ignition coils. I guess it's got multiple in there. We had like 4 of them go bad.
Crazy.
They said that one of them misfired like 40 or 60,000 times.
Just in like a certain amount of time, or while you were
driving?
I
don't know.
You don't know? That seems like a lot of times. So.
Yeah, it's a lot. But, you consider that you're at 4,000 revolutions every once in a while per minute. You never know.
Yeah.
But, it's been a great deputation. We've got to see a lot of great people. On a final note here, whenever we was in LaPorte, we was with brother and sister Lycan.
Yeah.
Right there after the minister's banquet. We went to brother and sister Lycan's church there in over by Wabash in Winona Lake.
Yep.
And had a great service. And then we went over to brother Tomei's, and I preached the afternoon service. And then Ezekiel went and he preached their evening service. And now Ezekiel's actually going to be going over to the Kugler's church tomorrow, and he's going to be preaching for them. So God's opening some doors, and we're excited about what he's doing. So thankful that, we're getting to see God use our children and both Ezekiel, Adriana, James, Harley, Daniel Bree. God's just opening doors for people, and I'm loving it. And, it's just exciting to see those kind of things. And next week, I want to talk a little bit about a program that has just kicked off in this organization, and I think it's something that we need to get out in front of everybody. We'll talk about that next week. I'm not going to put any huge spoilers out there because I need to get more details, but I think it's something that's going to be great and really change the way that AIA and WMU and several other things work. So I'm excited to talk about that. I'm going to let James close us out. Let him say something. If it's too crazy, I'll just cut it out, right? But I'm going to let him say something to close us out. Thank you for listening. God bless you. We love you.
Oh, I guess I didn't know that was going to happen. So, I mean,
surprise.
I will say for anyone listening, I haven't finished my coffee yet, so I didn't know we were done. I still got a half a cup, but I drink my black, so sometimes it's a little hot at the start, so I sip on it. But anybody listening to this podcast, make sure that you go on there and like it and give it a good review. I think when I checked on Apple, last time I reviewed it months ago, there wasn't very many reviews. No. I don't know if you've had very many. So
I've been begging for reviews for a year.
I've went back and I've listened to. I think I'm only behind by one or two of the ones that you uploaded. You had stopped for a while after you came back.
Yeah.
You started back up now that you're here. If you haven't listened, go back and listen to the one with all the family. That was a very interesting one. It was fresh right after you guys had just got back, so we had fresh emotions. Rosie going crazy, spilling coffee. It was a fun night that night. But no, if you haven't listened to that, if you haven't listened to the other podcasts, go back and check out those. Oh, and check out the Missions America podcast too.
There you go.
So that's the thing that I kind of help with. Brother Joseph Perez has a podcast too. We're gonna help promote him a little bit too. So
there you go. All right, guys. Well, you heard it from James. Go like and subscribe. Well, we're not talking about YouTube here. We're talking about podcasts. Give us 5 stars.
Yeah.
Write a good review and share this podcast with your friends and family. Thank you for listening to Coffee with the Missionary. Please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe to this podcast, follow us on social media, and go to anchor.com to find out how to support us monthly. God bless.